Jay, hello, hello. Please give an introduction about yourself.
How's it going? My name's Jay. I'm actually from Canada, and I've been in the real world for, well, I would say close to a year now. I've been kind of in and out, and honestly, the real world's just been life changing. Life changing. When I joined, I was just like, you know what? Let's just take a risk on the $50. I kept seeing the wins all the time being posted, all the time, like just all over social media. I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And I'm so thankful I did because it changed my life. I was blown away by the product, mainly because like there's a lot of courses out there, there's a lot of stuff out there, but they don't care. Like you get a course and it's like they don't update it all the time. It's just like, okay, here's like 7 modules. Good luck, you
Mhm.
know? But the real world is just constantly being updated. Every day there's a new lesson being put in the campus. Every like sometimes there's 2 lessons a day. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. So
Mhm.
it was a fantastic decision, and it's totally changed my life. It's changed everything.
Okay, love that. And yeah, about the lessons, it's crazy because I see as well every single day, and you're not even exaggerating when you say 1 to 2 videos every single day, as well as
Yeah.
AMAs and just live
Oh,
calls, all
AMAs
kinds of
from the
stuff every
professors
single day.
too.
Yeah.
Like not AMAs from like someone that's like an assistant to the professor
Mhm.
and you never see the professor. Like you can literally talk to the professor of every single campus with your direct questions and they'll answer them.
Mhm.
It's like, where do you get that?
Mhm.
Where can you go and talk to multimillionaires about the things that they do and get in-depth answers? Like you can't. It's crazy. It's literally insane. I couldn't believe it,
To be
and I
fair, it
still
does
don't.
sound too good to be true.
I know.
If it does. All right. Uh, what campus did you actually join? What campuses did you utilize? What skills did you learn?
So I started off in the copywriting campus. That was my first sort of introduction into the real world, and I learned a lot about marketing in there. I got some clients from there. Actually, I got my first sort of client in the real world from the copywriting campus. I sent out a bunch of emails. I sent out about I don't know 350 emails or something like that, and I ended up landing someone in about I don't know, probably a week and a half or so from just a complete beginner. So learned a lot there, and then I kind of branched over to the marketing campus, and I learned about marketing. I learned about videos, like the content creation in an AI campus. I learned how to edit, use Premiere, and really started to see where my skills sort of fell because I'm a very creative person, and I have a lot of skills inside of on the computer, like Adobe, like Photoshop. I used to do Photoshop when I was a kid and stuff like that. So I felt like that kind of fit my skill set more. And basically, as soon as I made that switch, everything just changed. Like it was pretty crazy. Like the success just started coming in, the going viral. It was really cool. It was really it was awesome.
Speak some more on that successes. What kind of clients did you get for video editing then? How did you even acquire them?
Well, I acquired them from utilizing the marketing skills that I learned. So learning how to grab attention, learning how to get people to follow you, learning how to get views. And I basically just made content about me explaining different marketing things and how I do marketing and how I kind of approach marketing. And I started to get an audience and people would reach out to me and they'd be like, "Hey, I really like what you say. I really like this. I really like that." And they'd want to work with me. I had a brand reach out to me. It's actually funny because I had a brand from Brazil. It's a fashion brand, like high fashion. And this guy reached out to me. And you know, you get those emails sometimes, and it's like, you get an email, and it's like, oh, I'm a multi-millionaire. I want to help you or whatever. Like, I want to, it just kind of reads scam, right? You just kind of like, no, this is suspicious. So the guy reached out to me. I read the email. I was like, this is kind of suspicious. And he was saying like he is the owner's son and they needed help in the marketing section and stuff. And he said like, this is a huge business. It's like, I think it was like $100 million business or something like that. And they reached out to me and we were talking and stuff. And I was kind of trying to look online to see like, okay, what's the name? And I was looking up the name and I'm like, wow, this is an actual legit business. So yeah, I landed a business that big just through what I was doing and utilizing the skills that I learned in the real world. And, it was absolutely crazy. So yeah, that was one of the bigger, probably the biggest client. Let's
That
be
is
honest.
awesome. Explain.
Yeah.
So he reached out to you. Then once you actually found out he was legit, what did you pitch them as a service? And what was pricing,
Well,
if you're comfortable revealing as well?
yeah, I'll reveal some. So he liked what I was saying about marketing. They were struggling with marketing and they wanted to grow sort of their video side of their business. They wanted to get their kind of, I don't want to say too much, but they kind of wanted to attack a different audience that they were currently attacking. They're already established in one section. They kind of wanted help in another. And that's sort of what I did. It was more so I was kind of giving them more so consulting than anything. It wasn't necessarily I was making content for them, but I was kind of steering the direction for the content that they were doing
Hmm.
and sort of telling them, okay, like this is good for this is good for that, that sort of stuff.
So even more consultancy, you'd say?
It was more consulting than me sitting down and doing the video editing because they had like more of a production team and stuff like that. So, but the guy found me because he liked the way I was approaching marketing, basically.
Okay,
So,
very solid.
yeah, it was
Congratulations
pretty
on
cool.
that.
Yeah, it was a cool experience.
Okay, and I saw you use AI in your video edits. So what was the process to learn that?
Well, basically, the way I learned AI is I used the Content Creation Campus. I started off in there and went through the courses, watched the modules and that sort of thing, and that was basically it. They're very easy to follow. There was no complication. AI is like you think AI is super technical and all this is really hard to get into, but the way they put it out, the professor has laid it out inside of the campus. It's very easy to follow, and you can get introduced to AI very quickly. And yeah, as soon as I sort of finished the lessons, I started implementing it in my videos. And
Mhm.
I love AI because you can create anything with it. You can create any sort of image. You can even change videos with AI. So it's like there's so much creative freedom. Whereas before you didn't necessarily have that freedom, but now you do. And you can copy art styles. You can be like, oh, I want to do a picture. I want an image of this with this type of art style. So like, let's say I wanted to do a portrait of myself and I want to do it in like a Picasso art style. You put it in the AI program, boom, it'll spit out an image that would be in a Picasso style. So it's like it's very, very powerful,
Mhm.
you know.
And did you notice engagement increasing in your videos after you started utilizing AI, or did you use it in a different way?
Yeah, so I use AI because one, it fills the gap of you have the full creative like freedom of what you're doing, but it also is a hook in itself. People are more likely to watch a cool video on AI. Like if you go on TikTok, there's videos of guys that are explaining things and it's like a totally AI video and like an AI face and like the mouth is moving, but it's all AI. And those videos go viral because it's different, it's fresh, it's exciting, it's this cool thing. You hear about AI. I kind of think of AI as like crypto and back when crypto sort of started taking off because everyone was talking about it. There's all this buzz about it, but not many people knew how to actually utilize it or what to do with it.
Mhm.
And now with AI, it's like there's all this buzz and the people that kind of get it and can do it, we can make videos, AI videos, and people go like, "Well, how did you do that?" It's not mainstream yet. It's not at the point where, my mom is asking me, oh, how do I do an AI on this? You know what I mean? Whereas crypto's kind of hit that point where, my dad called me. He's like, oh, can you tell me about Bitcoin? Right. So it's very much a very new technology. And when you utilize it, it just stands out because people don't see it very often.
Or yeah, I really do enjoy looking at AI stuff myself because, as you say, it's novel, it's new, so and
Yeah,
it's cool to hear
absolutely.
about. Because I used to do some AI stuff, but this was 5 6 years ago, and it's just evolved so much more since then. And it's interesting to see it. I've lost touch with the newer advances, but yeah, seeing it where it's evolving is pretty cool to watch. Now,
And it moves fast.
it does,
It's
it does,
very,
it does.
very, very fast moving. Like you look at the way technology has moved from, let's say, 2000, the
Mhm.
beginning of 2000 till now. AI is moving probably faster than that. So it's pretty crazy. In the next 2 years from now, you might be able to completely just do a whole video in AI
Mhm.
like very effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It really is wild.
Have you ever considered that though? Would AI replace video editing in a few years, like video editors? Just the basic, let's say, software, someone makes it, where the AI can do the whole process of, let's say, making a viral clip. Surely that will be possible in a few years' time.
I think
Nothing.
it will. I've thought about this, and I think that what's going to happen is it's going to make current video editors that utilize it even better. And it's going to cut out the guys that are just kind of, okay, I can do a basic video, right? Because AI could replace that position. But where the real skill comes is I can get an AI to do something, but you still need to know how to edit videos, and you still need to know what you're doing to, you have to tweak it. You have to have that professional, you have to tweak it and have that professional sort of input. And I'm not sure, I think AI eventually will be able to do that, but I don't think that that's coming very soon. And that's sort of my take on it. I think you're always going to need to have a person that's overseeing the AI, and the person that's overseeing the AI still needs to know what they're doing with what they're creating. Because like if you have an AI creating art and you're creating like trying to create, let's say like fine art with AI, you would want someone that knows how to paint fine art overseeing that AI, because if you don't, the AI is going to make little tiny mistakes and be like, yeah, that doesn't look right, or that finger looks weird, or, you know, it's going to be little tiny things. So I think at the very highest level, you need to have someone overseeing it. But I think AI is going to eliminate your common video editor, your common graphic designer, your common artist, basically.
Okay.
That's kind of how I see it.
Very interesting.
And the nice thing about AI too is it's a very good tool for people that are already skilled. So like what you can do with AI is, let's say I want to create a website, right? And instead of having to go online, research like, okay, different types of web, like look at the competition. Let's say you're creating a website for a gardener, and instead of going online, looking at gardening competition and seeing how they're doing their websites and trying to find the ones that are nice, you could type in AI and be like, create me 50 mock-ups of a website for a gardening place for a gardener basically, and it'll give you mock-ups of a website, and they won't be perfect. Like you can't just say, okay, I'm done. But now you have a very good starting off point. So you've eliminated that whole process that most designers would have to go through or artists would have to go through. And this includes content creation and video as well, where you need to do all that research on kind of finding your jumping off point. Where do you start the project? AI can just jump you right to, okay, I got 50 templates I like, or 50 mockups. I really like this one, this one. I like the combination of number 1 and number 5 and number 10. Those two together. Okay, let's try to make something from that. So I think that's also where AI is kind of headed. It speeds up efficiency, but I don't think it's going to completely replace the human touch because it needs to be overseen.
Okay, completely fair.
You know?
And as a video editor who's quite proficient, I've seen your video edits. I did like them myself. How much did you end
Thank
up
you.
earning from those edits?
From the edits I've made, I've probably made about, I would say 7 to 8,000 around there. And some of it, I've made 7, 8,000, and then I've also got, you know, millions of views and stuff like that, which I also consider those sort of also like not earnings, but results, because they build your brand recognition and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. And then you said you do things outside of video editing as well, which are still creative, whether it's graphic design or related. So with those
Yep.
things as well, how much did you end up earning in total?
For graphic design, I've probably made about 1,000, 2,000, something like that. Not that much, but I do it here and there. I like doing certain things within graphic design that I can kind of just get out quick. And I have sort of people, the way I work is I have a lot of people that come back to me. I'm not usually a one and done type guy. My people that work with me, it's more consistent. So they'll be like, hey, I need this done. Then I'll do it for them. And then they'll message me 2 months later, hey, I need another thing done. Okay, done, you know? So that's kind of how I sort of operate.
Okay, fair enough. What would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when you were learning video editing from the real world?
Yeah, okay, that's the biggest challenge I faced from learning video editing from the real world, is in like applying the lessons, or just like my own journey and trying to figure out how to make better videos.
Both, if you have answers for both.
Okay. Big thing in the real world was realizing that you just need to keep if you're someone that cares about your product and what you're creating, it's going to bother you when you make something that's bad. But the problem is to make something good, you have to make bad things. And that's sort of, and there's no way to skip that process. So in the real world, you have to go through the process of, okay, I know what to do. Now I need to learn how to actually do it in my videos. And the only way you do that is through repetition. You just keep making content. And that was a big thing within the real world, because it's like you see people making these crazy videos and stuff like that, like when I started, and it's like, how do I do that? And you have to go through that phase. You can't skip. As good as the real world is, you still have to put in the work. And that's sort of the biggest thing I learned, is like, you have to put in the work, you have to be making content, you have to be consistent, and you can watch all the lessons, you can study the lessons and everything, but if you're not constantly working, constantly making videos, you can't figure out how to apply them. It's up to you to figure out how to apply what you're being taught to the things that you're creating. And that was a big lesson that I learned. And then once I understood that, it started to click with me. I started to I was making content, I was learning. I felt like, sometimes you feel like you're not getting good, but then you are getting good. It's a process.
Mhm.
Success is a process. Getting better at anything is a process, right?
Right, exactly.
And then, yeah, so for myself, as far as video editing in my own things, like in my own sort of realm, I would say a big thing I had to learn was, okay, do you want me to go into video editing, or do you want me to go into more like how to approach videos? Like, you want me to, like, what kind of answer are you kind of looking for on
Just for
this one
you,
here?
like, I'm wondering in terms of challenges as a video editor. Sure.
Okay. So the big challenge that I had to learn, and I probably went through this for the past year, is just because you can do an effect doesn't mean you should do an effect. And effects that you add to the video, especially when you learn AI, you learn all these cool things, you go through the lessons and the content creation campus, and you go, wow, I can apply these crazy transitions, these glitch transitions with a glitch sound effect and all this stuff. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but it needs to add to the video. And I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday about this, and I said, like, if you do a video for a retirement home, you're not going to use glitch effects. As cool as glitch effects are, you're not going to use glitch effects because it doesn't work, right? So it's like, everything you do when you make a video, you have to be making, when you make the video, everything you add to that video, when it comes to an effect or it comes to a cool transition, does this actually make the video better? And if you actually look at my videos, I go very subtle on the effects, because I only add things when I know it's going to help the video. So I made a video. It was a real world video. It was a video for you guys, and I used glitch effects. And I use glitch effects because when you think of the real world, you guys use glitch effects all the time in your marketing. I wouldn't have used the non-glitch effect to introduce the real world, because that's off brand. So again, I'm using the effects, but I'm using them when it's an addition, not when it's just like, oh, I just wanted to use a glitch effect. And I think for video editors, because you like creating content, you like making videos, you like doing effects, it's very easy to go like, I'm going to make a video and I want to use this effect or this transition, but that transition might not be the right one for that video, or that effect might not be the right thing for that video. So you got to be, and that's the big thing I've learned. And that once I've learned that, I really feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I know exactly what I'm doing, and everything I do I can explain. And once you get to that point, that's when you're getting good, and that's when you start getting results, big results.
And how do you find the right music for a clip? Because it seems sometimes people just randomly throw on a piece of music and that's it. But back when I was in video editing, I'd actually go off of the emotions that are being portrayed in the video and find the similar vibe in terms of music. Do you do something similar or what?
Yes, I do something similar. Let me think of my process here. So when it comes to me selecting the music, one thing you need to understand is you can have a scene and many different types of music will fit for it. And I'm trying to try to think of how to explain this. So if you have a scene of someone, let's say it's a fight, right? And let's say the guy throws the winning punch, and the clip is of the guy throwing the winning punch and knocks out his competitor, right? It's a boxing match. You could have orchestral music, epic music. You could have very, very soft, like violins as the guy's landing the punch on the guy's jaw. You could have very fast music. So through that one scene, you have all these different types of music types that you can select. Now you need to, as a video editor, go, okay, well, the video that I'm making as a whole, where am I coming from with this? Am I coming from a more epic angle? Am I coming from a more cinematic angle, as in like more softer, sort of like you have like that stringy violin as that sort of angle? And once you kind of know overall where you're coming from with the video, then you can kind of pick the music. So yes, emotion is very important, but you need to know the emotion that you're trying to create with your video, and it needs to be consistent throughout the entire video. And if you don't know that emotion and you don't understand the whole, you don't have a very clear idea of what type of video you're trying to make from the sort of the concept side of it, then it's hard to select music because you won't really know what matches. Like when I made the video for you guys, I knew the song to use because I was trying to hype up what was happening. I was trying to make it feel very hyped, and I knew the song that I used has done very well for promo videos for me in the past. So that's also why I use it. So another aspect of selecting music is the more content that you make, you get used to sort of going, okay, like that song I know has done really well for a promo. Okay, well, this promo is similar to that promo. Let me just cut this song up in a different way and it'll make it work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing too is when it comes to music selection is you could have a drop. So the song that I selected had a big drop in the middle of it where it cuts out completely. So it's like you have this beat and then it stops and then the full song starts. And if you have a clip where you know that you can time, where you know that that drop is going to really add a really big effect to that video, then that's another thing to consider. So there's a lot of factors. Emotion is definitely a major part, but it also comes from the concept that you have going into the video, and then also even the words and how they're being said. Because if you're speaking really quick like this, you probably don't want to have a really sad song.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas if you're talking slow, so it comes with experience, really.
Mhm. Very well said. Okay, it was interesting to listen to that. Now, how different is your average day now compared to before you joined the Real Watch?
Oh man, yeah, man. I'm trying to think. My day before I joined the real world was it was a mess. I was like on the computer playing video games. I was doing crypto, but like crypto is kind of just like throwing money into coins and just hoping they go up. And then I was like, I'm throwing money into these coins, and I'm like, well, I'm on the computer, so I may as well just play video games. So once I had my coins in where I wanted, or my money where I wanted it, I'd have one screen would be like my crypto investments, and the other screen would be playing games. It was really just an excuse to just mess around on the computer, playing games all day, basically. And I didn't really feel like I had direction. I think a lot of people that go into crypto, and this is the thing, a lot of people go, well, I just want to get rich from crypto. I'm just going to trade my way to $1 million. I'm just going to start trying all these crypto projects, and I heard people become millionaires from this. And I think a lot of people do that because they don't have direction. And I didn't have direction. And that's why I was doing it. I'm like, well, I didn't want to work a regular job, but I didn't want to be like, you know, I didn't want to work a regular job, and I knew I wanted to be successful. So where else do you go? And you hear crypto, and that's why I think a lot of people go into crypto with the expectation that they're going to trade themselves to becoming a millionaire, which is a very false idea. You should have a net worth. You should have money coming in before you even start trading. But anyways, that was my idea. And then when I joined the real world, everything changed because one, I felt like I had a community that actually cared. And I think that was big for me when I joined and I realized that this community actually cares. Like the professors go on AMAs. These are busy people and they're spending. I remember I was in the copywriting campus when I first joined, and Andrew spent 3 hours on a video call. 3 hours on a video call for us. He was answering our questions. And they weren't like the questions were just like everything. And I'm like thinking to myself, where are you going to get this? Where are you going to get this? You know? So once I felt I was in that community and I was part of something that people actually cared, it was just like I started listening to what they were saying and I started applying it and I started seeing success and I started going through the lessons, and then my mindset changed. I joined the marketing campus and I got lessons on mindset and different things like that. And there's other sections about mindset in the campus as well, just in the real world itself, how to fix your mindset. And I just realized like I just listened. I just listened to everything that was said. Listened to everything that was said, and my life changed because I stopped doing all the things that were holding me back. I stopped, staying up till 7 a.m. in the morning, messing around on the computer, playing games, and then having a horrible sleep pattern. I stopped eating this terrible food. I stopped drinking pop. I used to drink a lot of Pepsi and Coke, and I was drinking like 5 cans a day or something like that. I started drinking water.
Mhm.
I started working out. I started, you know, um, doing push-ups and things like that, and it was just like everything changed. you know and it's really the environment because inside the real world everyone wants to succeed, everyone wants you to succeed, and there's no negativity, and it's very easy to succeed because you're in an environment where success is basically the only option. And I think that's the power of the real world, because a lot of people, myself included, before I joined, you don't it's hard to succeed when the environment around you isn't encouraging it. It's hard to succeed when the people around you aren't really on that same sort of wavelength. They don't get you. You're doing push-ups in the rain because you told yourself, I'm gonna do push-ups every day, and you're doing push-ups in the pouring rain, and you're soaked, and it's like people don't get that. They look at you and go, why are you doing that? But in the real world, that's like, you know, yeah, go do your push-ups, go get them done. And when you're in that sort of atmosphere, it just makes success so much easier. It makes success funner, and you just feel like you're part of a massive community. I think community is extremely important because humans we're community based,
Mhm.
And yes, you can succeed on your own. There are some circumstances where they just succeed on their own, but for most people, it's hard. So the real world changed my life. It changed
Mhm.
my life. It changed everything. Like I said, it changed the way my sleep schedule, it changed the food I ate, changed how much water I drank, changed, working out and stuff like that. Um, I stopped focusing on garbage. I stopped doing things that weren't benefiting me. I worked all the time. I just started working all the time, 24/7, trying to get better, dreaming about work,
Mhm.
you know, waking up in the middle of the night because I had a dream about how to make a better video, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I wasn't doing that before the real world. So, and I think this is one thing I want to also mention too is I think with the real world, and I was actually thinking about this last night, what the real world does is, imagine you have a conveyor belt and you have these big, big pieces of granite on the conveyor belt, and they're just like blocks of granite. And all these different pieces of granite and everything, they all, some might look a little bit better, some might look rougher, but they're all just ugly pieces of granite at the end. And these blocks are on a conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt is pushing these blocks to a hammer. And when they reach the hammer whacks them, and all of the ugliness fades away, and a beautiful statue is revealed. That's what the real world does. The people that have it inside them to succeed, the real world brings it out of them. So if you don't have it inside you, it's probably not for you. But if you know in your heart that, you know what, I want to succeed, and you've known all your life, like, I want more in my life. I want to have good things. I want to do good things. I want to, all these things. The real world will totally unveil that potential. And I would say you're guaranteed to succeed if you have it in you. If you're that block on that conveyor belt that inside of you, yeah, you might be depressed right now, you might be this rough, ugly stone, but inside of you that you can be a beautiful statue. The real world will bring it out of you, and I think that's the most beautiful thing about it.
Mhm. I really like that analogy and answer. And even before what you said about the community, you can even build the close bonds with the people there to the point where I
Definitely.
have had several stories now where people meet in the real world and then move in together in real
Definitely.
life. So it's actual close
Absolutely.
bonds and connections you can build with people, which you just don't get
Absolutely.
in the outside world. It's like super hard to find. So there's
And
that.
they're good bonds too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
bonds built on, oh, let's go party, let's go to the club, let's do some stupid thing. They're bonds built on doing push-ups, working out, making money, improving yourself, changing locations to a better location. Like, they're bonds built on positive things, not just degenerate or just negative things.
Mhm.
Yeah, the real world's amazing.
Okay, and where was your life heading then before you joined the real world? What plans did you have and what direction?
Well, I didn't really have any. That's the thing. So I was basically I was just messing around, really. I was just sort of dicking around. I mean, I was trying to make the crypto work, but like that was an excuse to just be lazy, really, if you actually look at it. Um, you know, I was trying to get away with doing as little work as possible. I was trying to find some loophole that was going to make me money so I could do whatever I wanted. And when you have that, when you're directionless and you don't really know what you're doing, you sort of just latch on to anything, and things will come along and you'll be like, you know what, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. And, oh, you know what, I'm going to do that. And it's like you're just a leaf in the wind, and it's like wherever the wind takes you, whether that leaf ends up on a road and it gets driven over by a car, or into the water, gets washed away somewhere, like you just wherever the wind takes you. And it's a horrible feeling because you feel like you have no control. You have no control, and when you have no control, you can't give the other people around you peace of mind that you are in control. So, like, I had a girlfriend, and one thing is like when I'm still with her, but one thing is like when you have no control, she won't feel like you can bring any peace. Like you're chaotic. You're all over the place. And I don't think that's what men should be like. Men should be bastions of control. They're not controlling people, but control their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Should have the control of your life. And before I joined the real world, I didn't really have control of my life. I didn't really know. I was doing whatever I felt like doing, which most of the time wasn't positive stuff at all. Lazy things.
And it's so
Video games.
common among men these days to have that it's at this point fairly obvious that is intentional to make men that way. So it's beautiful to have something like the real world to counteract it. And so many people who joined, and it gives them a purpose and a direction. As you say, if they have the drive within them, then they'll become polished statues in your example, which is super cool.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, and long term now that you're on this path?
Well, my path right now is, and it probably will be forever, is marketing. And the best way to market is video editing. So that's my path right now. And I want to master that. I want to become the best at that of anyone in the world, basically. And I think I'm well on that path right now. And I've had some successes just within growth of some of the things that I've done. So I created a TikTok, and I created a TikTok a while ago, and I decided to post some videos to it using the skills that I know from the real world and the things that I've learned about marketing. I grew that TikTok to 700,000 followers in 3 days. And I got 36 million views on my first video. So it's like that is what I'm trying to say. That is basically the direction I want to go, mastering marketing, mastering videos, and becoming the best at it. And again, everything I learned is inside the real world. That's the craziest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't learned much outside of the actual outside of the real world. Everything's been learned inside. All the skills I have, the 700,000 followers I attribute to the things that I learned inside the real world about marketing. So my life in the short term, I'm just gonna keep working on video editing, keep doing video editing, keep doing what I do. And then in the long term, just keep doing video editing, keep doing what I do. And then that's basically it. I also do, I'm a semi-pro golfer as well. So I do that also. So that's something that's probably going to end up in the mix. And then being able to video edit, being able to do things online lets you be location independent. So once you're location independent, then you can basically live how you want, do what you want, be where you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can even control the temperature that you want to live in, you know, once you're location independent. So in the future, I see myself being location independent and just pursuing the things that I want to pursue, and also becoming the best video editor and marketer.
Super solid. Okay. And yeah, in terms of video editing, it really is the best educational platform on the planet. As they say themselves, it was hard for me to believe when I was hearing it at first. But after all these interviews, it's pretty clear at this point. I can't see anything better than the real world. From my own personal experience, interviewing over 330 something success stories from it. So yeah.
Definitely. And the thing is too, for people that are watching and they're like, well, you know what? I still don't believe it. Is it actually true? Let me right now just sort of dispel your disbelief. And I'll do it in a way you probably haven't really thought of or heard of. So Andrew Tate owns the real world. It's his product. And who is Andrew Tate? Well, Andrew Tate obviously knows a thing or two about one, money. He's very, very wealthy, as well as marketing, and also how to go viral, right? Is there anyone that you can think of, for the person watching this, I'm asking you, is there anyone that you can think of that has more presence than Andrew Tate online? I can't think of anyone. Elon Musk, no. Elon Musk has some presence here and there, but like not consistent like Andrew Tate. So the thing is, you have the most influential man in the world. You have someone that is extremely, extremely wealthy, having a platform teaching you about how to make money. And the guy's actually rich. There's no competition. Who else are you going to go to? Who else? What other platforms are there? So if you're thinking like, well, is the real world legit? How can it not be legit? Because of look who's backing it. Andrew Tate has all this money, and he puts the money into the real world. How can the real world be bad? If he has a network that is extremely successful, full of extremely successful people, how are the professors inside the real world going to be bad? They're not, because he has access to the best people. Andrew Tate could hire right now the best marketer on earth to work for him. So why would he not have the best inside the real world? And that is why I think there is no competition. Try to find another product with someone backing it with as much influence and presence as Tate. There isn't one out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. Nothing competes. So if you have the most influential man in the world, whatever you want to phrase Andrew Tate as, then why would you not join the real world? Why would you give it up? And it's $50. That's the craziest thing about this. There are other courses out there. You could learn about video editing from someone else. You could learn about marketing from someone else, but it won't cost you $50. It's going to probably cost you a couple hundred, 500, 600, 700, 1,000, 1,500. I remember I joined a course for how to make money online years ago. It was $1,500, and it was nowhere near the real world. Not even close. Mm-hmm. Not even close. So it's literally $50. I think everyone, whether you're a skeptic or not, should throw the $50 because here's the thing, and I'm going to share one more thing, is when I was in high school, I had a very fast computer because I was into games. My computer was extremely fast. And there was this little thing called Bitcoin that just came out. It just started kind of coming out. And I mean, not necessarily popular. It wasn't popular at all, but it was just released to the public, essentially. And I had my friends inside in the gaming communities I was a part of. They're saying to me, hey, Jay, you have this crazy computer. Why don't you mine Bitcoin? Because back then, you could still mine it with a relatively simple piece of you didn't need to have a whole farm to mine Bitcoin. You could do it, not easily, but you could do it just at home with a powerful enough computer. So anyways, they kept saying, why don't you mine Bitcoin? Why don't you do it? You could do it. Why don't you do it? And guess what? I never did it. I never took the little tiny risk it would have took to figure out how to do it and then try it. Because if I had done that, I would be, who knows where I would be, right? But my point is, the real world is an opportunity. $50 is not a very big investment. Just like when I was introduced to crypto mining in the very beginning stages, the time it would have took for me to learn how to do it would have been maybe a weekend. Very, very small investment. Mm-hmm. Very, very small investment. And it's the same with the real world. It's a very, very small investment. And the potential is upside. What happens if you join the real and it doesn't work out? You lose $50. Is it really a big deal? When the upside is unlimited? You don't want to be, trust me, you don't want to be, because I see where crypto went and where Bitcoin is now. And I look back and I go, you know what? I wish I just did that opportunity. You don't want to be 20 years from now thinking to yourself, looking at all the students inside of the real world that are now running massive businesses. They're on the news. The richest man on earth is so-and-so. Guess where he started? Inside of the real world. That's where he learned.
And you'll see his interview at some point 20 years earlier.
Exactly. And you can go back and look at his interview. Yep. And you see this guy and all these other people massively successful, and they're all from the real world. I think the real world is going to be, in, let's say, 40 years from now, people that are the richest people on earth are going to be talking about how they got their start inside of the real world. And you don't want to be sitting in front of your television, living a decent life, going to yourself, you know what? I kept seeing the real world talked about. I was thinking about joining, but I decided not. And you're just gonna ask yourself for the rest of your life, what if, what if, what if? You don't want that. Trust me, you do not want that. It was hard for me to swallow that with crypto.
Mhm.
And it'll be even harder when you see everyone winning on TV
Mhm.
and they're all from the real world. So take the risk. It's $50. It's really nothing. And at least try it. At least you can try it. And if it's not for you, fine. At least when you're watching TV and you see all the winners from the real world making waves, in the world and conquering the world, you can go, well, you know what, I tried it and it didn't work out. At least you can say you tried it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's my
Super.
thing.
That's your super insightful answer. Thank you, Jay. Haven't really heard someone phrase it that way before, but yeah, super passionate. Completely agreed. I'd say even 20 years, not 40 years. I'd cut it in half.
Yes. No, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Definitely.
For,
Definitely.
for
I say 10 years. You look at some of the
maybe
wins.
even, yeah, because some are already having huge wins. So, and that's only within a few months of being in the real world. So imagine them in 10
And some
years.
of the kids winning are so young.
Yeah.
Like I'm 29. I'm an old like I'm 29 and I look at the kids and they're like 13 and they're making $10,000 a month. 13 years old and they join the real world and now they're making 10K a month. They're 13. It's like, imagine you start making that money when you're 13. Where are you going to be when you're 20? Where are you going to be when you're 30? You're going to be conquering the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be running the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's crazy.
Jay, let's do a follow up in 3-4 months. Let's see how you're doing yourself.
Sounds good.
And for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Yeah, so I have a TikTok. If you want to see the TikTok that I grew to a quite large size quite quickly, it's j.cool, COULL. So again, that's JAY dot COULL. And then that's my TikTok, and you can see my videos and kind of see some of the content that I make. And then, yeah.
We'll add that to the description of the video. Yeah, Jay, thank you for sharing your insights. It was super interesting to listen to. Hard to believe it's been 40 minutes already, over 40 minutes. That flew by.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can talk for a while. That's my girlfriend always says, oh, you can
Spoke
talk
very
forever.
very well
So,
articulated yourself very well, and some interesting insights. I liked your analogy on the conveyor belt and statues, and just a lot of gems dropped in general. So yeah, Jay, let's hold you accountable. Let's do the follow up, and until then, I wish you all the best.
thank you.